Well, good afternoon, everyone. I apologize. I think we had a little bit of technical difficulties there when you were trying to watch that little bit of a video, but I just want to say welcome to our webinar today. My name is Meredith Call, and I serve as the Director for Off-Campus Student and Family Engagement. And our webinar today is all about the Vulcan Materials Academic Success Center and all of the support and the services that they're able to provide to our students. So just a few things to go through about how today's presentation will work. We have Hillary here from our what we lovingly call on campus the VMASC. It's much easier and shorter for our students to be able to say over and over again. But she's gonna walk you through our presentation. If you do have any questions at any point today, please make sure you just put those questions into the Q&A function, which you should see at the bottom of your screen if you're watching us via Zoom. If you're watching us via Facebook, please know that we are monitoring that as well. So if you do have any questions, all you have to do there is put your questions into the comment section, and we'll be monitoring those questions as we go through. We will let Hillary kind of get started with her presentation and kind of walk you through some of the services, but then we will definitively open it up for questions throughout the presentation and obviously very much at the end to be able to answer those questions to make sure you and your student are able to start this fall semester off on a very strong footing. So again, I'm super excited to have a representative from VMASC here to share with you all of the multitude of ways that they work to support our students. And I have the pleasure of getting to work with VMASC all the time. And so I'm very excited for Hillary to be here to share with you those resources and opportunities. So at this time, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Hillary.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our webinar today. Welcome to the VMASC. So I'm here today to tell you a little bit about our office and kind of the things that we offer. As we're going through, please make sure that you're putting any questions in the Q&A portion of the Zoom or on Facebook Live, and I will answer them at the end. Anything about UAB, about supporting your students academically, I'm happy to answer as best I can. So about the VMAS, the Vulcan Materials Academic Success Center is our full name, and we are lovingly known as the VMAS on campus. We foster undergraduate student success. We try to create a supportive environment, delivering academic services that encourage goal achievement and degree completion. So some of the services that we offer that I will talk about today are tutoring, supplemental instruction, academic and exploratory advising, success coaching, workshops, and study hours. So before we get to any of our services, I want you to meet the team. So I wanted you to be able to see kind of the faces of the people that will be helping your students when they come to UAB. So here we have our director, Jennifer Wyckoff, and myself. I am the supplemental instruction coordinator and I'm one of the academic success coaches. We also have a new tutor coordinator starting soon, who is also an academic success coach. And then we have an office service specialist, Eliza Graham, who handles all of our office needs and all of our student assistants and people that staff our office. And then we have a team of advisors, and they help with exploratory advising and undeclared advising. So we have Stacy Green, Jasmine Williams, Shakima Wilson, and Ron Dates. So they are our advising team. So let's get started with chatting a little bit about tutoring. So at the VMAS, we offer one-on-one peer tutoring for core classes. So typically each semester, your student can find tutoring for biology, chemistry, math, psychology, and sociology. During COVID, and we're hoping to continue this, we have been offering both online and in-person tutoring. So we have just actually moved our office to the library. So we're on the second floor of Stern Library. We're nice and centrally located. And we have a space here where students can come in for tutoring one-on-one, and then as well as like use our space for any other needs. They can come in here and study. All students have access to it. We have laptops that they can check out that are brand new. If your student needs a reliable laptop to take a test, do a Zoom meeting, to do whatever. So we are currently providing both in-person and online tutoring options. Our tutors are UAB students. They must have a 3.0 GPA and they must have made good grades in the courses that they tutor. So they're typically hand selected. We get recommendations from professors, faculty, and staff to make sure that we have an appropriate number of tutors. Students have to be currently enrolled in the course to get tutoring for it. So they have to be enrolled in, like, say, a biology course. They can't be doing test prep or anything like that. They have to be actively enrolled in a course at UAB. And you can find a full list of courses that we offer tutoring for on the VMASC website. So typically when students are looking to schedule a tutoring appointment, they can do this in as one of two ways. They can either call, well, several ways. They can call our office, speak to one of our student assistants who can tell them about what times are available, what subjects, what tutors, so they can see all of that. They can come into our office, they can call, or students can go online to our website, and there is a handy system where they can just click, see which tutors are available for that subject, choose their tutor, choose their day and time, whether they want it to be virtual or whether they want it to be in person. So it's very simple to receive a tutoring session. So very similar to tutoring is something that we call supplemental instruction. And this is a national program that we're able to have here at UAB. And we lovingly refer to this as SI because in higher education, I don't know if y'all have noticed, we like to shorten and use acronyms as much as possible. So our SI is peer-led study sessions for specific courses. So it says here science, but it's not exclusive to science courses. However, most of our courses are biology and chemistry. We also offer supplemental instruction for math and computer science and physics. But it changes every semester what we offer tutoring for and what we offer supplemental instruction for. It just depends on the courses and what we see in the data of what students need. So these are peer-led study sessions. That means we have students that we hire, just like tutors, that are undergraduate students that host sessions for supplemental instruction. Now, these students also go through a rigorous vetting process. They are recommended by faculty and staff. They have to have had an A or a B in the class taken at UAB, nowhere else. They also have to have 3.0 GPA. And then we train them on how to best host peer-led review sessions so that they are not only teaching students the material, but they are teaching students how to learn the material. These sessions are typically held 1 to 2 times per week in group settings. Also, due to COVID, we've been offering virtual options and we will be back in person in the fall. So these students are typically assigned to a course and a section and a professor. So if your student is taking human anatomy with Dr. Nichols, then they will have a set of SI leaders for that class, and they'll be able to choose from several different sections to figure out what time is best for them to go to a session. So there'll be all these different times. All the sessions will be on campus, so there will be lots of options for the students to go to. So there really should not be any excuse unless they're working full-time and being a student full-time, which absolutely happens, but there should be plenty of options for them in order to receive help for these courses. So that is supplemental instruction. We also offer academic and exploratory advising in our office. So I know I showed you our our advising team earlier in the presentation. So we offer academic advising for students with undeclared majors. So our advising team splits up the students based on their major, and they will make sure that the student has everything they need in order to choose which classes to take each semester. And they also provide them with options on how and what major to choose, whatever's best for them. Sometimes we have students that just aren't quite sure what they want to do yet, or sometimes we have students that are interested in like in a nursing or pre-nursing track, or a healthcare kind of field. And so sometimes they'll be advised in our office until they are admitted to that program. You have to have a certain GPA and a certain set of prerequisite courses that you've taken. So we'll see our academic advisors advising those students a lot of time. Like I said, it includes support in creating class schedules, making sure that the students are meeting those core requirements that they need to take, making good decisions on plan of study, make sure that they're going to graduate on time, that they're not spending money on classes they don't need to be taking. And then they also provide major exploratory advising for students who are either changing their majors or aren't sure of what major to choose. So this can be both added into if this student is assigned to this advisor as their academic advisor because they are undeclared, or let's say your student declares a major when they come to school, they've decided they want to be a math major, and then halfway through their freshman year, they're like, oh, no, this is not for me. In that case, they can come over here for a major exploratory advising appointment, and they'll sit down with one of our advisors who will just kind of talk them through their options, what things they enjoy, what classes they want to take, some kind of career paths and job opportunities. And that way they're making the best decision for the student's needs as to what major they would like to change to, or maybe if they're going to stay in their major, or just what options are available. And there are various major programs at UAB, potential careers. We work with our career center all the time to kind of figure out what options are available. So it's a really great service to use if maybe your students on the fence as they're coming into school. And luckily there are a ton of classes that all students need to take their freshman year, so they've got plenty of time to be able to figure out what major is best for them without having to go back and start over with a bunch of prerequisites. So moving on to success coaching. We have several students that are assigned to our office for success coaching for one reason or another, but it is open to all students. So what we do is we'd like to give personal feedback, personal support for students who need it. Okay. So say, it could be just one semester. It could be a hard semester, lots of difficult courses students are taking. It could be a transition into college, a student that's a freshman that's coming into school for the first time, a student that's a transfer student, that maybe just hasn't quite found their feet on how to study and how to work. And we can go through and make a personalized plan for each student. So we help build skills such as time management, study strategies, just making references and referrals to other support services on campus, like disability support services, if the student needs accommodations for their academics, our student counseling services if students need student counseling. But we go through and we kind of figure out what's going on and what's the best way to form a plan of attack so that the student succeeds for the semester. Along with those other resources I just mentioned, we can also recommend tutoring, workshops, or sometimes just a listening ear. A lot of times we have our students do check-ins so that we can just make sure that we are attending to their needs throughout the semester, and that there's always someone there to listen. There's always someone there to ask, and just make sure that as their needs are changing, they're being met with the support that they need throughout the semester. So success coaching largely depends on the individual student's needs. It's going to look absolutely different for every single student. We always want to make sure that we have an individual plan in place. Sometimes I get on the phone with a student and I'm just simply kind of listening to what's going on in their life, and then we make a plan of attack on how to figure out how to study. So we will go through, when they have a test, and we'll look at their calendar and we'll count backwards by day and figure out how many hours they need to spend on readings each day, how many hours they need to spend studying certain pieces of material to get them ready for that exam, different types of time management and test taking skills and study strategies and all kinds of things. So we are happy to spend time, as much time as the student needs, kind of chatting about options. So that is our success coaching, and we have 2 staff members that handle success coaching on our staff. So it is, again, open to all students and is free to all students in our office. Another service that we offer is our workshops. We regularly offer workshops, and we try to provide both synchronous and asynchronous options. So obviously before COVID, we were having our workshops in person in our space, and now we've been having workshops via Zoom, which has also allowed us to have pre-recorded versions that we can have on our learning system that UAB has that all students can access. So we'll have those recorded. Some of the things that we try and talk about each semester, especially in the fall and the spring semesters, are time management. So we talk all about the study skills I just talked about, how to make sure that you are studying appropriately with the time that you have, and you're balancing all of your classes. Learning styles. So we try and talk about, what way a student learns best, what combination, are they visual learners, auditory, are they hands-on learners, how to convert their type of learning from what their professor's teaching. So if you're not a visual learner and your professor's teaching with a PowerPoint, you're gonna have to convert that into a way where you can learn the material. Study strategies, so how best to go through your readings, how best to handle the materials that are given to you so that you're retaining the information for test taking purposes. We also talk about different ways of note taking, which is really interesting. So what kind of way works best for you? What are you using a computer? Are you writing by hand? Are you kind of highlighting main points and ideas? So different types of note taking, and then also independent learning. So teaching our students how to learn and not just the material. So we offer these workshops, like I said, both online, in person, and every single semester, including summer. So the last part of my presentation today, we offer study hours, and I do want to talk a little bit more about our space, which I know I mentioned a little bit before, but the VMASC office includes a quiet study space in Stern Library where students are free to come study. So we are on the 2nd floor of Stern Library, tucked in the corner, and we have a big open space where we have cubes with tables and chairs, and then just kind of like chairs with little desks everywhere throughout the space, and students can come in, scan their one card, and choose a place to sit. They can sit here all day. We're open from 8 to 6, or normal business hours, and then of course our library is open longer, so if they need to stay after 6, they can go into the main part of the library. But we also have, like I mentioned, we have brand new laptops if the student needs a laptop to work on a paper, to take a test, to attend a Zoom meeting, to do whatever. And some organizations on campus or programs or majors will require study hours. So it's a great place for us to keep track of those for those organizations. So if your student does join like a Greek life organization, I know that they will require study hours, and they can do those in our office. And if students feel like they could benefit from set study hours each week, we can come up with an academic coaching session. Like I said, in our academic success coaching sessions, sometimes we'll recommend study hours. And so we can, assign 2 to 4 hours a week where the student knows that they can come in, that we're monitoring them, they have a quiet and a safe place to study. So our office is definitely a resource to students that may need it, especially students that are living on campus that are sharing accommodation. It's a really great option if your student needs uninterrupted, quiet study time. So these are all of the services that we offer. I know I quickly went through all of those, and I would love to answer any questions. I know that we have some in the chat or in the Q&A.
Definitely do. Thank you so much, Hilary. I mean, you've already obviously started covering a lot of great information, and family members are coming in with questions as we speak, which is fantastic. So please continue to put your questions into the Q&A function if you're watching us via Zoom. And if you're joining us via the Facebook Live component, please know that we're watching that as well. And so we can take questions via the comment section. But let's kind of get started on with some of these things, some of these questions out there, Hilary. One, I think the very first question a family member asked before we even got started, is there a student success class that is for our incoming first year students?
There is. It'll be on their schedule. It'll show up as a UASC class, and it covers a ton of the material that I talked about today. So we go through all of those skills that we talked about: study skills, note taking, time management, very in depth. And there are several sections of that course.
And to clarify on that one, the US course will show up if they are an undeclared student, but it also may show up as it's the same content in many regards that will potentially show up under different names depending on the area of study your student is a part of. Is that not correct, Hilary?
It is, and their academic advisor, whoever they're assigned to, will know exactly what it'll be called for your student. So if they have not been through orientation yet, they'll wait until their orientation date, and they are welcome to ask their academic advisor during advising hours. If they have been to orientation, I recommend emailing your academic advisor and asking about an option to attend that class. But yes, your advisor will have all the options available to you. And you can see those on BlazerNet as well, but it just might be easier to get the name of it from your academic advisor. It's a great question.
Oh, yes, it is a fantastic question. While each school does what we cover in the class shifts a little bit, that those key things that Hilary was sharing as far as the academic success component will be a universal message that we will continue to share. So there is a question about what type of support is available for our students who still need assistance in classes, but they're not the class lists that you provided or shared earlier that have supplemental instruction or have additional tutoring options. So, maybe for like a history class or other things that sometimes don't populate out as the big classes that need tutoring.
Yes, so there are other resources on campus that are not in the Vulcan Materials Academic Success Center that I wanted to share with you. There is a writing center on campus that students can go and get writing help. Also, if your student is in the School of Business or the School of Engineering, they also offer tutoring and academic help. And then all students are able to use an online tutoring called Tutor Me, and this is through Canvas. And your students, all they need to do is Google UAB Tutor Me, and it'll tell them how to log in with their Blazer ID and password. And it's a tab through their Canvas, which is the system that we have all of our classes in. They can go in there, and there's tutoring available for, I'm pretty sure, all subjects except for maybe there was one, but I can't remember what it was. But we offer it, I think maybe math. But there are tons and tons, and they'll ask you to upload like the question that you have, and then they'll match the student with a tutor, and it's all online and it's all free to the students. So if your student doesn't see their class in the SI or tutoring at the VMASC, there are definitely other options on campus.
That's awesome. Yes. And what about and I know just to reiterate, what about the resources that are available in the summer, or what resources are still available to our students during the summer?
Yes, so most resources are available during the summer. We are hosting supplemental instruction this summer. We offered tutoring for the A session of term. So our summer term has a long, summer term. We can have a full semester summer, but then we also have an A term and a B term, which is like a 7 to 10 week. And so we did offer tutoring for the first part, but not the second part of the summer, but we do have supplemental instruction. And then I'm pretty sure the writing center and like the math learning lab, I forgot the math learning lab, that is through the math department. It's extra help with math. I'm pretty sure that they operate through the summer too, but yes, we will always have services during the summer. It just depends on what classes are being offered, because in summer, there are less classes being offered, so we don't offer as much support. We match the classes. That's a good question.
It is a great question. Here's another one that I think is really helpful, because especially when we're thinking about our first year students that are coming in, What about our students that are a little reluctant about the idea of going and meeting with an academic success coach, or even understanding what that is? What are some of the suggestions or thoughts that or experiences that y'all have had to really encourage students to take advantage of these resources and opportunities that is available to them?
I think a lot of time, like the one great thing about COVID is we've been able to do a lot of phone sessions and check-ins, which I think that our students are a little bit more comfortable with, because yeah, it's absolutely intimidating to have to find a new place on campus and go and meet with a stranger, random adult that they've never met before. But that I think has lessened a little bit. It really encourage our students to create a relationship with their professors and the faculty on campus. And we find that when you create this relationship with your professor, a lot of times they'll suggest our services, or with your academic advisor. So once your student gets comfortable with one person on campus, it's a little bit easier for them to take the suggestion of a professor or an advisor to come and use our services. And mostly everything is peer-led except for our academic success coaching. And I promise you we're cool, or we think we are.
Speaking of the peer coach, the academic coaches, are y'all, and again, just to reiterate, I know you said that you talked about some Zoom meetings. Have y'all started back to doing any in-person meetings yet, or is that it's still in waiting for upcoming semesters?
We are in the office and we are happy to do in-person meetings, but we are officially back in the fall with in-person meetings.
Okay.
Yes.
So there's still options and things there for our students.
Yes.
So I think that the things that when you're thinking about our students and trying to get them prepared or getting them into the academic support, utilizing the academic support coaches or a multitude of other things, what is it that you think are the first few things that especially our first year students and the family members of our first year students, I really should know about how to support, encourage, direct their student as they're getting started for their first semesters on campus?
Yeah, I think just not being totally, this is going to sound wrong, not being super overbearing, yet offering support when the student needs it. Because a lot of times, the students, we've both academically and personally, everything is new, right? So they have 5 different professors taking 5 classes. Each professor is going to ask something different of them. Each format of the course is going to be different. And then, the added bonus of maybe moving out of their family home into student accommodation, figuring out where to eat, where to do your laundry, how to do your laundry. So just making sure that you're checking in regularly, but not too much, and you're just offering support, but not criticism, because a lot of times students are going to feel overwhelmed when they first get on campus, and just knowing that they have someone to talk to when they're ready, I think is invaluable.
What do you see from the academic success coaching area? What do you see as some of those key pitfalls our students are, especially our first year or early or younger, students that are still getting settled into? What are some of those major pitfalls that we see that we need to work to make sure that our students are prepared for or resilient to handle if they do encounter them?
A lot of times we'll see students that maybe excelled pretty easily in high school that come into college and think that they can exert the same amount of effort and then quickly realize that they're not able to do that. And sometimes a student will be in that situation, then they will fall behind and have to catch up. So being proactive with your student, just making sure that they know how to access their courses on Canvas, how to read through their syllabus to make sure they know what's expected of them, to make sure that they know how to get the materials that they need is huge. So just making sure that they're as prepared as possible and that they're taking seriously that each course is different, each professor is different. Like I said, they're going to require different things from the student. So there is a little bit of juggling there up front, trying to figure out what they need to do in each class in order to succeed.
I think that's really critical too. And then the other thing that I've experienced because I get to teach, Hilly was talking about a US course earlier, and I get to teach one of those classes. And I think the other thing that I see from being in the classroom experience is seeing the students that are struggling with the amount of time that they have. because it is very different than their experiences in high school, where maybe they had a very structured class schedule, that they were in high school from 8 to 2:30 or whatever it was, and classes now are not like that in college. And then they're also not necessarily going from high school to a sports practice to something else. If there's large blocks of time, and for our students to be able to understand how to manage that time, and to, very truthfully, to not procrastinate everything off until the last moment and then give themselves a sense of anxiety and frustration. And so I think that was the other thing that I also experienced a lot of times with our first year students. It is that combination of, I was super successful in high school, so I could put it off. And then now I've come in and I can't put it off, and I'm trying to put it off, and I'm having to work harder, and then I'm not utilizing my time as well as I should be. That can be the reality I see a lot of our students hitting somewhere right around that October midterm timeframe.
Yes, absolutely. Very good point.
So for our family members to know, and we'll continue to send communications through our hub and everything, there's kind of, and Hillary, don't let me overspeak it all, but there's definitely a track or a timeline that we're able to watch and see the traditional track of students, as far as where they have these timelines where we know that students have, where they start to feel a little homesick, or they start to, they're going into midterms, and where these kind of like panic moments hit and happen. And so from the area of family engagement, we'll definitely start to communicate with you like, hey, it's midterm time. You might want to send a note of encouragement, or kind of back to what, as Hillary was saying, as far as that support coming in from the backside, so that way, the cycle, for lack of better terms, of a first year freshman fall experience, so that you could help support and encourage them through that process, because that can be a little overwhelming at times.
And you know your child, so you know what they're going to need. I remember when I was in college, my mom and my roommate's mom sent us like a basket of food because they knew that we were not eating properly. And so just trust your gut, trust your instinct. You know what your student needs and how to provide that for them. Absolutely.
Perfect. Well, if there's no additional questions, I will just say that we are, and again, if you're still watching us through Facebook, please feel free to put something in there, or in Zoom, please feel free to put in your statements here. If your student was not able to join us today, and you want to make sure that you share all of this information with your student, or there's other family members you want to be able to see and learn about everything that Hillary was able to cover, this presentation has been automatically recorded and is currently sitting out on the Family Engagement Facebook page. I will put that link into the chat function if you need to refer to that. We will also be posting it on our family's website within the next week, once it is fully captioned. So there are multiple opportunities for you to be able to go back and review and watch the previous presentations. And then I'm going to turn it over to Hillary for her last little segments here.
Yeah, we have an amazing student assistant who manages all of our social media. So anytime we have anything going on in our office, a workshop, study hours, anything's going on in our physical space, we will post that on our Twitter, our Instagram, and our Facebook. So that's a really easy way for your student to keep in touch with us. They don't have to go to our website. They can, but like I said, they can just send any messages through any of social media and we'll get back to them. So please share this with your student.
That's awesome.
It was great to talk with you all today.
Oh, wait, Hillary, we got a couple more questions. I've just coming in to say thank you so much for the presentation. And again, I want to reiterate that as well. I know that there's some questions about like device distractions and things along those lines. So there's some additional resources. I don't think it comes through the particular things. There are definitely some resources around phones and overusage and things through our counseling center. They have a lot of different supports and groups and services and one-off workshops as well to help with some of these issues, these conversations that our students are needing to figure out as well. Through a multitude of opportunities. I hope everyone learns and realizes that UAB is here to make sure your student is successful, regardless of what area it is that they are needing some support and encouragement in. We're going to come up with ways to help serve and support them. And Hillary and her coworkers are a key component of that, ensuring that our students are extra and superlatively successful from the moment they walk in that door. So I just want to say thank you so much for presenting today and sharing that all of your information with us today. And appreciate that you were able to help out and give us these great tips and pieces of information. And I hope that you have a wonderful rest of the day to both you, Hillary, and to everyone that joined us today. I hope you have a great day and join us for our presentation on the University Recreation Center this upcoming Friday. Have a wonderful one, y'all. Bye, everybody.